All right.
Hey everyone, geophysicist Stefan Burnes here. We have been seeing an increasing electrification of our planet for not just years now, but decades. And this has a bunch of ramifications as it relates to what's happening here energetically in earthquake activity,
leading
volcanic
up to
activity,
February
weather,
14th.
and more. So in today's video, I wanted to describe the global electric circuit and provide you an overview
Pay
of
close
some
attention
of the
what he
science.
says.
So when you watch my other space weather presentations, or just in general, you have a better understanding of how energy flows around our planet and these systems involved. And so we will start here with this visualization that I've created. Here we see the Earth that's rotating, and we see this electrical layer
That's why everybody's
some
woozy.
distance off the Earth, let's say about 1,000 kilometers, and that is the ionosphere. The ionosphere is made up of ions. These are charged particles, meaning they have a positive or a negative charge, just like a magnet, you could say. And as a result of that, they follow the electromagnetic force much more than the force of gravity. And as a result of the flow movement of these charged particles, for example, protons and electrons and other ions, they form these powerful electric currents. We also see these lightning strikes that are occurring around the globe. We have about 50 every single second.
That's why the Schumann resonance is very important in our calculations at 158. The Schumann resonance measures the electrical field of the globe, or in other words, lightning.
Sometimes it's even super volts. We get gamma rays produced from those plasma arcs in the atmosphere. It's really quite intense. Of course, you see the optical light produced by a lightning strike when you see it light up the sky, but it's also producing the other frequencies of light that we can't see. So this would be, for example, infrared. If you're closer, you may feel the heat of it. You don't want to be that close, but you could. You could pick this up in the radio microwave band. They also produce Schumann resonances, which are these naturally resonant wavelengths of light.
This Indian might know what he's talking about.
At 7.8 hertz, at 14 hertz.
Sometimes we do know what we're talking about.
39,
Not all the
45
time,
hertz,
but
and higher
sometimes.
frequencies at lower power.
Better than no times.
Those overlap with our brain waves. They are one of the most interesting geophysical energy forces on our planet. They resonate with the Earth because of her physical dimensions, and they don't turn off. Those are shown here with this morphing field of 3 different colors showing the first 3 modes. Of course, we have the magnetic field of the Earth as well. There are a lot of different components to the global electric circuit. And in general, because solar activity has been increasing since solar cycle 24, which was a low period of solar activity going from about 2010 to 2014 for the maximum in the entire solar cycle being about 12 years in length. Solar cycle
That was pretty cool.
25 being stronger than solar cycle 24 means that we've had more energy pumped into our system as a result. We also have all the anthropogenic forces adding into that because we're increasing the greenhouse effect. A lot of water vapor in the atmosphere, the main greenhouse gas, some of the other trace ones as well, keeping more of that heat in general driving Earth electrification. And there are some estimates that lightning strike activity 50 to 100 years from now may be 10 to 20 times greater than it is now.
Hey Raj, there'll be a bunch of balls of electricity rolling around on the ground.
Yeah, but this time it's going to be getting everybody, not just me.
Our conscious experience, if that is to continue. But there's
the
more than
energy
just
field
that.
on
So
that.
let's dive
Great balls
deeper
of fire
into the
everywhere.
ionosphere and the global electric circuit.
If you are facing advanced non-small cell lung cancer, asking your doctor.
Increasing energy here on Earth, and I don't know when we're going to hit the peak of that and then maybe go down into a trough, right? Everything follows a rhythmic wave pattern in reality in the universe.
Oh,
That's
they're
what it seems.
making
So
a prediction, I guess.
0
That's what,
point,
5 days from
a whole
now?
different conversation.
What's
but regardless, we seem
5
to
days from
be
now?
increasing
Valentine's
energy
Day.
here on Earth because of all these
It's
factors.
going to break
primarily
humanity's
because of the
heart when
sun,
they have to
but
fart
others as
because
well.
of the solar
There's also
activity.
interstellar and galactic
Broke my
forces
heart,
at
made me
play here,
fart.
which is very interesting as well. So here's the global electric circuit. We kind of see a nice diagram here. Here's the ionosphere. We see these electric currents in the ionosphere. One thing to keep in mind with the ionosphere is that in general it has what's known as an equipotential. And that is meaning that its electric field is fairly homogeneous across the ionosphere. And that's about 250,000 volts or 250 kV. there is
That's where
a
Tesla was getting
difference
that energy
in the
from.
ionosphere equipotential. So it's no longer
Tesla was getting the energy from
Arctic and
that.
Antarctic circle. So the high latitude region,
250,000 volts
there's unique
just
dynamics
sitting up
there.
there waiting
But
for
us, the
somebody to
globe,
tap
in general,
into
it's
it.
about 250,000
Darn that
volts.
Tesla.
And
Too bad he
Earth's
didn't know
surface
about
is
13.
0
though.
volts.
Ha, ha,
And so
ha.
when you
Yep,
have
about
an electric
Tesla.
field gradient,
Einstein
you get
didn't
a
even know
current
13.
that flows between them, seeking to equalize those potentials because energy flows where there is a gradient. So because the Earth's surface is 0 in general and the ionosphere is 250, you get this current that flows between them. But there are differences in fair weather conditions where you don't have any clouds or thunderstorms, anything like that. Clear blue skies, you get this fair weather current coming down. And then in areas of enhanced atmospheric activity, this could be even just rain clouds, which are electrified, of course, but also thunder clouds, big cyclones and more. You get a different flow of energy in between the ground surface and the ionosphere. The big thing to keep in mind, though, the reason why these haven't equalized is the fact that the atmosphere in general is very resistive. So Earth's surface has a conductivity about 10 to the negative 7 Siemens, S-E-I-M-E-N-S, and that is about the same conductivity for the ionosphere. So they're not that conductive.
Hope you know your
compared to something
alphabet
like
and numbers.
copper, but they are fairly conductive as it relates to the atmosphere in between, specifically the troposphere, the lowest layer of the atmosphere, because that has a conductivity of about 10 to the negative 14 Siemens, so 7 orders of magnitude different.
I can hear
That really
somebody
slows
out
down
there
the flow of electric
probably
current.
laughing.
It never fully stops.
When
It's
he
always the
says
flow of electric
that.
current. The question is, what is the amount, the strength, etc. So it greatly is
Non-native
reduced,
solar
meaning
weather
these
man.
don't quickly
Native solar weather man. There's a big difference between
equilibrate,
the two of us.
but
Right,
in general
right,
there
right.
is this flow. And that also means that with unique solar space weather events like a ground level enhancement, for example, a massive explosion on the sun, a huge amount of relativistic flux coming down to the Earth, that actually does ionize the atmosphere that's normally resistive to a greater degree, allowing for this equalization to occur.
Sun
to a greater
energy.
degree. It's never going to be probably a complete equalization. That would be wild. But that is a dynamic that is at play. So there's a lot of things that could happen that usually don't happen or we don't have evidence of happening, but physically, like the science of physics, it could occur. One thing to note there is that before some earthquakes, we have measured conductivity, air
That's why I
conductivity
was
sensors
doing this
at the
originally was
surface
to
going way
figure
off the
out
charts,
earthquake
indicating that
activity
there
as
was
well as
some sort
volcanic
of
activity.
ionization
Not all of them,
of
but
the
most of it's
lower
connected to
atmosphere
the
that
11-year
allowed
solar
circuit
cycle
closure,
of when
like
the
an electric
volcanoes
circuit
and
closure
earthquakes.
of the
Not
subsurface
all of
and
them,
then the earthquake rupture.
a good portion
There's
of
a lot of dynamics here that we are still learning. The electric field potentials of a thundercloud can reach well beyond the electric field potentials of the ionosphere. This is 250 kV, 250,000 volts. For a thundercloud, it can be like 100 megavolts. So that'd be 100 million volts. So you have really powerful dynamics at play here. Again, Schumann resonances being produced by these lightning strikes and a whole bunch of other things too. When the sun hits the ionosphere as it rotates into view, that also produces Schumann resonances and more. We see this current here has a strength of about 10 to the negative 12 amps per square meter. And here we see the equipotential. This is from Feynman, some of his lectures. This is 400,000 volts. And we see that if you were standing in this grounded,
Yes.
you actually
Is it
bring
safe to
up
say
that
that,
electric potential with you of
in
zero.
his egghead
So the
talk is that
atmosphere
we're being
gradient flows
supercharged
around you.
with some
So
kind of
typically
energy?
It goes up about
By the
400
sun?
volts
Yeah, but when
every
the sun
meter
and
or
yeah,
so.
when
And he's just saying
So
in
it actually
egghead
stacks up
talk,
pretty
but
quickly.
that's basically
well,
what
he's
he
also
States
saying
it's
there's
120
shit
volts
that
for your
could
wall
go
plug,
down
and
that our
Europe
physics
it's
says could
220,
go down.
right?
We just haven't
Reason why
seen
we're not
it.
getting zapped
Well, like
in the
we've been
head
saying all
because, let's
along,
say someone's
and
6
why I've
feet
made
tall,
everything based
is
not
because
on
it
our
is
energy grid
so
system or anything
resistant.
electrical.
So we have some very
Because why?
interesting dynamics
It's not
of
going
the
to be there,
global
so why
electric
depend
circuit
on
in
it?
general, a lot more
Get
that
ahead,
we
be
don't know
prepared
than
for
we
it.
do know. But one thing that we know undoubtedly is the fact that it gets charged up to a much greater degree during solar maximum versus solar minimum. And we are right now at the end of solar maximum for solar cycle 25, the beginning of the descending phase. And so we've had all
Increase.
this energy pumped
Solar
into the
energy.
Earth as a result of a lot
Look
of
at
solar
the sun's
flares.
looking
Let's
at
learn
us
more
with
about
his
it.
eye twinkling.
Guys,
Yeah, or
this
like,
thing's so
Flux at geosynchronous orbit, it's 5.6 Earth radii floating around the Earth out in space, and for 2 time periods. We have July 2019, this is solar minimum, and we also have July 2024, which was solar maximum of this solar cycle. We see that our X-ray flux, which is the frequency of light produced by solar flares. There's also extreme ultraviolet light produced by solar flares. You also have even radio frequency, solar radio flare bursts, and more. But this is one of the primary ways we measure the strength of a solar flare. We see that's down here at 10 to negative 8 in the A class range. And if you look at July 2024, this is solar minimum. If you look at solar maximum, we see that we're in
X
the
class,
C class
M
range,
class,
even going up into the M class range.
Flares,
This right
C class
here
flares.
is a 3 orders of magnitude difference. So a 10,000 increase going from solar minimum to solar maximum in terms of X-ray flux. We measure this in terms of watts per square meter, and we see that these values there are not that large, right? It's going from 10 to negative 8 to 10 to negative 5 or so watts per square meter. Total solar radiance, the overall energy output from the sun that we receive here on Earth, is about 1,300.
Everyone's getting supercharged.
So this is a very small.
Anybody been struck by lightning before?
Again,
Maybe
I have.
trying to update us because we don't do it voluntarily. Maybe God's going to do it for us.
And then you have
We don't want to
energy,
evolve
extreme
voluntarily,
ultraviolet, even less
apparently. I mean, we want to
X-ray,
keep
but
doing
we
the
do
same
see
old
these
crap that we
increases. Now,
normally
why
do.
this matters
Beat
as
each
it relates
other
to
over the
global
heads
electric
with
circuit
clubs,
is that
and then say
this
that we're
specific,
advanced and intelligent.
wavelength
And
and
we're
frequency
anything
range
but.
of light, X-ray
I'm
light,
thinking, I
is
think
what
God
is
might be
absorbed into
stepping
the
into the
ionosphere.
picture
So
to make us
optical light
evolve whether
obviously
we want it or
receives
not.
reaching through at the
Kinda
surface,
And with a
Being
little
the
spanking involved on top of
Thermal
that.
heat is
Bad
heat.
kids. Now
Ultraviolet
behave, now
light
get out there,
still, on the
behave,
surface, some
and
of it gets
learn.
absorbed by ozone, things of that nature.
Because I don't see
But
those
extreme
sunspots
ultraviolet
as
X-ray
an
light
eye. You know what I
is
see it
absorbed
as?
directly into the
I see it as
ionosphere,
a
which is why we
punching
have
glove
ionosphere.
that's
Those
coming out to
ions
punch us
were
right in the
originally
face in the
neutral
earth.
molecules or gas molecules,
Because we're
and they were
bad little children
ionized
over
by
here, you know,
this
and we pretend we're all this and all
radiation. So
that when we're not any of
1,000x
that.
increase in this
We're
specific
just highly
frequency of
evolved
light
primates
changes the
until we
properties of the
voluntarily
ionosphere
want
quite
to
a bit.
evolve.
And anyone
Till
that
then, we're
operates
just highly
like a
evolved
ham radio or
primates, you
something
know?
like that,
Hairless
knows
monkey
that,
running around.
transmission conditions,
Get another
the ability to
banana.
operate that
Got a
equipment
coconut.
and reach distance,
Who
different
is the
distances
Monkey
around the globe
King?
is dramatically different
Who's the
during
Monkey
solar
King?
maximum versus
The guys
solar
that
minimum.
evolved from
So
monkeys.
we go through
White man.
this about 12-year
We didn't
cycle,
evolve from monkeys.
and
They
as a
claim they
result
did.
of us soon approaching
They're
solar
the monkey's
minimum,
uncle,
right, we will
not
be
us.
there around 2030, 2032.
But what happened in the second world after the hurricane, Colleen? Though, and the hurricanes destroyed that race of man. What did they turn them into?
I don't know.
If you look back to solar cycle 24,
You're a
which
bad
was
student.
The fish.
25, they originally
A
estimated
monkey!
Oh.
We're not talking a
or
fish.
estimated that we
You
were
said
going
a
to enter
monkey king, not a fish king.
I know, sorry, I was meandering all
You're
over the
not
world in my
sorry,
thoughts.
You're just not paying attention. You're a bad student. I'm trying to teach you to be a teacher. But you're getting there.
Of energy right now, and X-ray flux is a big driver of the ionosphere, which is the main component of the global electric circuit. If you really want to understand the global electric circuit, then
Ion
we should probably talk about
precipitation?
ion
Yeah, see,
precipitation.
Is that like-
because this
Ion.
is a dominant
Ion
factor in terms of
That's
how
crazy.
energy
Interesting.
is received from the space environment to deeper layers closer to the surface of the Earth. So we have these radiation belts that surround the planet. They make up the plastosphere. We have radiation belts, and then we also have plasma and Earth's magnetotail, the part of the magnetic field which stretches out behind the Earth opposite the sunward direction. And when you have a solar storm impact, you can have ion precipitation because it'll push and crunch the magnetic field, causing the plastosphere to reorganize, and a lot of those ions get induced to flow down the magnetic field and enter into our atmosphere. And they are very highly charged because Earth's plastosphere acts as a particle accelerator. Think of like CERN, except way bigger and
That's
better.
pretty cool.
And then they go
Looks
down.
like a
and they
super-
have so much
looks like a
energy, they
superhero.
hit one molecule, which is a quantum
We're going through
probabilistic thing. Eventually
an
they
atomic
do.
collider.
They hit one molecule. It will
That's what he's saying.
energize and
What they
ionize,
say,
instantly
CERN.
become very energetic itself, and it creates this particle cascade. So one
Or
single
atomic
particle
accelerator.
from our space environment, because the density overall, the actual density, the mass of our radiation belts and our plastosphere is very, very low, but the energy is very, very high. These are very highly charged ions. They will, of course, the atmosphere below has more density, right? As you get closer to
Watch
the
out,
surface,
if you
there's
got
more
braces,
density
a radio station
of,
might tune in.
gas and material. So as that single particle comes in, it creates this cascade, this shower of ions eventually dies out, but that energy then gets deposited, you could say, into that atmospheric layer closer to the surface. Now you have more electric field potentials, and you're getting closer to the subsurface and the mantle and the core. So we have ways for energy to come from our space environment into the Earth energy system and overall our geophysical.
So this is like the Earth's protection system, basically.
And so as you go from solar max to solar minimum, we're going to have less things like this occurring because you're going to have less solar storm impacts and you're going to have a less charged ionosphere, so there'll be less ions to precipitate down. The radiation belts will also be less charged up, but right now
what does all of that energy do to us as a species,
so we have a very charged up ionosphere.
What does it do to us as a species, as people?
No, I asked that. I don't know the answer. I'm asking the world a question. What do you think all of this energy is doing to us as a people? If it's doing this to the atmosphere, the ionosphere, to the magnetic sphere, all the way to the core, to the mantle. I mean, we're on the surface, I mean, we're part of this world.
We're the Earth's
We're going to be
surface
affected
people.
somehow. We pretend we're not being affected because we're stupid and dumb. But in reality, we're totally connected to the Earth, so whatever affects the Earth affects us as well as the Sun, the Earth, and humanity.
Well, that's the case.
Makes me wonder still, maybe this is a fast track to being evolved. 100 years behind on being evolved spiritually. All because of social programming, religions, and governments. We're 100 years behind in being in our spiritual development. We should be 100 years ahead, but because of our stupidity, we're 100 years behind. So I'm wondering if God's going to put us on the fast track to make us speed up to that.
Individually, and that would be like the whole positively charged ions would be a way to charge people up.
Yes,
and Big Pharma will never let you find out about it. It may sound exaggerated, but once you understand,
the global electric circuit is going to get stronger, more
as we
complex,
continue to electrify.
Because we evolved to be in resonance with the Earth, its global electric circuit, the Schumann resonances, and more. I expect that we're going to start to see increasingly amazing things unfold as it relates to our own human capabilities. And I think we're also going to see some incredible things happen for other animal species.
Ooh, animals are going to start talking to you.
A lot more intelligent.
You'll hear their thoughts and
so
talk to them.
Wanted to give you an overview of the global electric circuit, just in general, so you can be aware of some of the forces and factors at play here.
You'll start to see spirits
and kind of the overall
that you were unable to see before because you're achieving a higher level of frequency.
Then your eyes develop that you can see the ultraviolet things that they're always there. I've seen people that freak out. They calm down. It's been there since the beginning of time. You just never were aware of it until you finally got to that development to see it.
Yeah.
And you see and act like it's a boogeyman, like it's the first time, Been there this whole time, staring at you since the day you were born.
Well,
they've been there even before we were humans and as humanity. But that's another.
I think lightning activates you because I got struck by lightning and then that ball of lightning rolled up on you.
Yeah, it rolled up on my neck. The ball of lightning. That was weird. It came through a window. It rolled across the floor. It rolled to various people. And I was hoping it wasn't going to roll to me. But lo and behold, it stopped and it rolled right toward me. And I went, oh no, here we go. I had a funny feeling. I knew. But the weirdest part is that when it left, it didn't leave out through a window. It went through the wall. I mean, through the wall. No window, no opening, no any way for it to get through. It went through the wall.
So if you'd like to stay up to date, then please subscribe to the channel, smash that thumbs up button to help the channel grow. I have a whole bunch of natural holistic wellness products and also some merchandise on my website at earthevolution.com/store. You can check that out there. Anything purchased
so
there,
this guy,
helps, my efforts, and it's all produced by me, at least the holistic wellness products. That's all done basically in-house or by close friends. So really good stuff. And wishing you all the best. Have a great day. I'll see you all very soon.
No, it didn't go that good.